Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, guys. We're reviewing today Casino, and this is 4 guys, 1 film. What a movie. What a movie. It's 3 hours long of just amazing mafia action. Slow, steady, but amazing.
I didn't see no cannolis in there.
Yeah, there wasn't enough.
The
Italian-
gabagool.
I didn't see
We need
no
some
gabagool.
gabagool.
But let's start off with what a cast, right? We got Sharon Stone, Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese behind the camera,
His mom's in front of the camera.
directing these people. Probably the greatest cast of all time, I think.
Can't
These-
forget Joe
Whoa, buddy.
okay,
You're saying some pretty
I'm saying- I'm
outlandish
going-
things already.
Yeah.
There's more Oscar winners in this fucking film.
You're saying this is better than the cast of Heat? Al Pacino, De Niro, Kilmer, a bunch of other people. Machete.
I never even watched Heat. That's how unforgettable. it was.
Whoa.
Get the fuck out of here.
I
We
don't
might have to
know.
review that.
I think that's going to be the next 3-hour film we do.
God
All right,
damn
but
it.
Casino.
Casino. What do you guys think of the movie as it starts off with him gambling away?
Well, the fucking opening scene,
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Let's
just
do a rundown
fucking-
of what the
Yeah.
movie was.
Fucking putazos flying, vatos
Yeah.
dying. He gets a car bomb like right off the fucking.
Yeah, first
bat.
30 seconds.
This is a mob movie. This is a mob movie.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the first
All-
movies like that I've seen, or not the first movie that I've seen, but like one of the earlier movies that implemented that whole. I'm going to show you the ending, or I'm going to show you like the climax of the movie right away, immediately at the beginning. You're not going to have any problems with basically knowing the direction of the film, but it didn't give it away. You know, spoilers for the rest of the film.
And this is based on a true story by Franklin Lefty Rosenthal.
Lefty.
Lefty.
Is Lefty the De Niro's character?
Yes, that is.
Well, he is the one that survives,
yeah.
so makes sense.
I thought he was righty the whole time. God damn it. It's actually, they limited the way that they were able to go about things for the movies just so they wouldn't get sued. They couldn't actually talk about the mob bosses back in Chicago.
yeah, that's why
at
I
all.
couldn't refer Chicago.
Yeah, so they always said the boys back home.
Yeah.
Just because of legal situations they had going on trying to actually produce the film, which was very interesting.
Well, wasn't one of the issues with Scorsese doing all these films is that even the mob was kind of like, how the fuck does he know all this shit?
Yeah, somebody's
Somebody's
a
telling
rat.
him shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
He was on the list.
Nonetheless, what a phenomenal movie. And I think the transitions, and you see, like, I feel like this movie actually has acts where, like, you see, like, okay, so these are all the origins of all the characters. This is what they did to get to the position they are. Them writing the position that they get to, and seeing how, I guess, greed and selfishness leads them down to their, I think, their
downfall.
Their tragedy, I think, because the thing is a tragedy. Because at the end of the movie, I did feel bad for Robert De Niro's character because he just wanted to run the casino, man.
Because he wasn't really like part of the mob, right?
No, because he's half.
I mean, he's done
Irish.
some.
I mean, he was part of them, but he wasn't out there doing the killings or
No.
the,
No.
no,
nothing.
he was the face of the operation, but because they needed someone on the inside that was like clean, so they were just kind of like, hey, we're gonna make him the lead, and he's like the kind of clean cut guy, whatever.
Well, no, it was because he knew how to run the scams.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
He knew
be-
all about the scams. He knew.
The-
gambling.
Oh, no,
Well,
wait,
he was
they-
really good at gambling
He
himself
knew the
too.
ins and outs
Oh
of
no,
gambling.
wait, never mind. I'm sorry. The other guy.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had the politician or whatever. Fucking.
No, it was a real estate. It
was
a
that
real-
Green? Was
yeah,
that Green?
Yeah,
Green.
yeah, Green.
So didn't they like go about making him kind of run the thing, but not actually like in so many different ways? Like he was part of the.
They just kept moving him around.
catering or some shit.
Yeah, they keep moving him around in position so he could just be in the casino.
And he never actually had to get a license, right?
Yeah, because he
Okay,
couldn't
I
because he
remember
was
that.
a felon. He had all this other stuff in his like past.
First of all, I do want to mention another character in the film,
Okay.
Las Vegas itself.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
that-
beauty!
That scene where you see Las Vegas at night and it shows the desert in complete darkness the entire way, and then but you just see the lighting of Las Vegas, the fact that that's a city that never sleeps, number 2 essentially,
Yeah.
opposed to New York, of course. That was just a phenomenal work. Like it's something in 1995, I don't think
But
there
it's
was
still-
anything like
oh,
that.
But
I
it still
think
is
that-
like that though. Like if you
Absolutely.
if you drive in the middle of the desert,
Is it though?
have you driven to like
I
Las
was
Vegas?
just there, buddy.
At night?
It
No.
doesn't look like casino.
Can you
Vegas.
let me? That's not what I'm talking about. Alexis
Alright, go
G's. It's like when you had got out of work and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Vegas this weekend to fuck it up. I'm gonna leave at 7:00, get there at 11, and you see like that giant ball of light from the desert. Have you seen that,
Yeah,
Alexis?
I'm gonna find a ginger to ruin my life.
No, I can't say I've seen that.
And that's the magical thing because you get that excitement because you're like, you know what, I drove up to.
Why don't we go to Vegas?
We should.
We should totally go.
We
Are you
should
gonna
do it.
freak out,
Just the
Alexis?
boys. Just the boys. I'm not gonna freak out. Dude, now I got some people over there too.
Yeah.
Alexis
So we
gonna
can fuck
find a
it up.
nice dark corner. He's gonna do his homework in a club.
That's
Fuck
right.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's right.
For a certain point, I was going to Vegas like 2 times a month, but it was part work, part
times
fun.
a month?
Yeah, no, we were going a lot, but also just because we had business partners out there. Like-
Yeah, of course.
No,
Business
but
partners.
no. What I'm saying is like it was work, but then we gotta.
Are
have
you
fun
saying you're mob
inside.
affiliated?
No,
He wishes.
Were you gonna go see
the boys back home. Yeah. No, but it's a great time. I love the city. Could never live in it. It's fucking.
It's disgusting.
It's gross.
I
but-
found some great comic book shops over there.
That's all you want to
Also,
do.
Yeah, actually, shout out to the
All right,
Velvet
so-
Underground.
Some
Great
insight
shop.
also for the viewers at home. We live in California, so we can. It's just a drive.
Just,
and a
4
skip
hours
and a
away.
hop away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But back
never-
to the movie, Casino.
Casino. Okay. It is crazy how I don't know if you guys have talked to older people and they've explained to you how Vegas was back in the 80s and 90s, like, and how it's
it was all mob run, right?
no, I wasn't gonna go about that, but it was mob run. But I was just saying, like, it was a much cleaner city.
Oh.
Like, you got actual really good service. Now it's just like it's all corporate and shit. Like, it's all
Yeah,
nasty.
yeah.
There's
They
pit-
talk about that at the end of the film.
I kind of
absolutely.
hate that little mom and pop shop run places where it's like you actually feel like you're welcome and like at home. What it's so much different than now. It's just like it's a corporation. It's like
Well,
it's
at
cold.
the end of the movie, they call it kind of like the Disneyification
Yeah.
Disneyfication of Vegas, where it's just like it just wants to sell you stuff and it doesn't really like want to make you feel a certain way. Because in this movie, they're like, do we bring people in and we give them free this, free that. We make them feel like winners, and then we take all their shit at the end of the day.
But I think
could be worse. Could be Atlantic City. You know.
Atlantic City.
never been.
I
I don't think I want to go. I don't know. I've heard
Was that a reference?
bad things.
No.
Atlantic City, Jersey is a reference.
All right. Well, back to
You don't know where this place is, Alexis?
I've never heard.
Do you
of
go
Atlantic City.
outside?
Like, I think he's talking about Atlantic.
back to the movie.
Casino.
Casino.
But yeah, the intro is so cool because I mean, one of the things that I saw that I loved about this movie is number one, the dual narrators, having Joe Pesci like also narrate kind of the darker, deep, like his
Like-
tone, the way that he talked about.
But the thing is, he was doing like the actual mob work, so
Exactly.
it was interesting to see that intensity. Like
he was the cleaner.
when you're like he's
Take care of
when the big from the bosses
And
from
the muscle.
Chicago told him like you got to take care of the guy. I'm not gonna say the word that they actually call him.
Yeah.
And then like he's in a bar and he literally kills a guy with a fucking pen in the neck.
Yeah, and it was over like that scene in particular. Like when they're showing that was crazy because it shows the fact that from the get-go, right? Like these guys, you see that Ace the entire way feels a sort of kind of discomfort with the way that like Pesci's character is operating. Like there isn't a single thing that Nicky does that he's fully comfortable with, but I think there isn't a time, at least especially in the beginning, where he doesn't realize like Nicky is an integral part of his operation.
Like, he needs the muscle to be there.
Because he knows, right? Like Ace knows the ins and outs of gaming. He understands like he started hiring ex like cheaters to overlook the floor when he was in the casino. bit.
Everybody was watching everybody.
Yeah, exactly. He knew how to do it, but that doesn't mean he's not going to have people who try to scam him, try to cheat, and people who are going to get past him. And that's where Nicky's character comes in to break bones, to kill people, to make sure that at the end of the day, everybody's afraid of the boys back home and their operation so that nobody fucks with Ace. in the
And it's
hotel.
crazy because you do see Ace's fear of Nikki throughout the movie. It stays very consistent. Even when the first time where Nikki's like, they told me to come to Vegas to help you out for whatever reason. And Ace is like, no, I don't need any help. I'm cool. Like, everything's running fine. And they're like, no, I'm going to go. And he's like, shit. And then, that's kind of their downfall because, as Nikki said at the time, there was no mob in Las Vegas at the time. They were all small-time crews. And this guy comes in with the mob and, like,
But he brought it. He brought the organization.
And he's like, I'm taking over the fucking city. And that's exactly what he does.
See, but he was too loud about it.
Yeah.
Way too loud.
Well, I
Nicky
mean-
was way too loud about
Yeah,
it.
Like,
that's why.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I mean, Scorsese in a lot of his films. I mean, he really does touch the whole idea of like becoming like a megalomaniac, especially like in the way that you just get too big for your own like your ego
own good.
expands for your own good. Yeah, like all of a sudden you have the world. I mean, Ace I think is an even better version of that. I mean, Ace was running such big schemes with his gaming kind of like operation, and the fact that he was able probably very easily to move on from the mob and run other operations, to run away completely and potentially even get to a point where he's, you know, doing kind of gambling underground and making $1 million bets or whatever, and coming out super rich. But once his license got taken away towards the end,
Well, he never had the license.
he never, sorry,
never had
once his ability, you're right, 100%. He never had the license, but once it was vetoed by the entire board and nobody allowed him to basically run or operate the gaming, he all of a sudden took on this persona of a talk show host because his ego got the better of him, and he's like, I don't want to be I think it was the head of food and something else that they were going to give him.
Yeah, like
It was another title that they were going to give him, but allow him to run the casino from the back end, essentially.
Well,
but he still wanted to be the face. He wanted to be in the limelight.
I think that's kind of like the main point about this movie, is that your ego is going to lead to your downfall. Because Ace, like, you know, yeah, like Nikki was a big problem to him, but if he would have just listened to that like cowboy that came in, was like, hey, like just hire my brother-in-law again, like it would have been totally fine.
And
But he fucked himself
He's
over
like,
that.
like he's gonna make me lose money at one point. But like, Dick, you're making so much money already. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Like, dude, you're giving your wife like millions of dollars in jewelry. Like, who gives a fuck if you're losing like what, like
20 grand. A week.
yeah, a week? You know, like it doesn't matter. Everyone's scheming off of each other.
Yeah. So and the cowboy was like, just hire my son, my nephew back. I know he's dumb as a sack of bricks. Or something.
and that was the county commissioner, right? But
Yeah.
I think the thing that's stupid, I mean, to really add to this whole
Dude,
toxic masculinity.
And the county
ego-
commissioner had the balls to be in the courtroom where they denied his fucking. He's
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
I knew this was gonna happen. I'm like,
I mean,
And
he told
immediately
them.
they were like, nope, you're not getting it.
yeah.
He told them from the get-go, but the guy was even saying, like, you don't have to give him, like, the slots job again. Like, nobody's asking you to make
Put him as a
manager of
janitor.
Put him in the back room. Put him as head of the food and kitchen. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be that serious. Like, Ace was so determined to be the best at everything that he does, which is great. But it goes into that toxic masculinity and that whole, like, aspect of, like, I just have to be better than everybody around me. And if any part of me starts to slip up, like, you're breaking up. And, I mean, that's the whole, I feel like, dynamic going into his relationship with Ginger, right? Like, he found a girl who was beautiful. He saw how she was scheming at the tables at first, and he was like, damn, she's just like me. She's gaming the system. She's smart. She knows exactly what she's going to do. She's the most gorgeous person in the room, and he couldn't have her because no matter what, she did not love him.
Well,
even from the
actually,
beginning.
let's talk about that, man. These guys' relationship with women. Because Ginger was
I fucking
a complicated
hated
person.
Ginger. She was the
But
worst.
I guess I think those.
I can't disagree with you.
I think he fell in love with a person that he can connect with. I think that was one. Two, like he loved the fact, because I think he's always chasing. He has something. He needs something to chase after. You know, his character, and whether it be being the best casino on the strip, having the best food or whatever. And for him, that was his like, oh my god, this is the beauty.
His
And
white whale.
Yeah.
Because everything seemed too good for him. He was too good at
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
Joe
he-
Pesci literally says it at the beginning when he's narrating. It never seemed like Ace was having fun. He was so good at gambling. He was so good at everything, but it was work. It was like he knew how to do it, and there wasn't a challenge to it. There wasn't anything that he had to work for. So he never looked like he smiled. Like that was one of the first things that the narrators talk about.
Maybe that's why he chased Ginger so much,
Yeah,
because he
it's-
knew that it was like he found a woman that he loved the idea of her, but he could never fully satisfy her
But the
to
thing
the
is-
way that.
But I don't
he
think
needed to.
the
Lost
thing,
Highway.
But I don't think that mattered to him, because he knew off the rip that like, I know I'm not gonna ever make this chick fall in love. And I remember when
Well,
they were
let's talk about the engagement.
yeah,
like,
because he sat down. He's like, dude, I know about your dude, Lester.
Lester
Yeah,
the
you know, like,
molester.
Fucking Lester was fucking.
He's like, I know you're never gonna.
Slimy.
He's like, I know you're not in love with me
Grease.
right
That's
now.
James Woods.
Yeah. He's like, I know you're not in love with me right now. Hopefully, over the course of
We could get there, though.
we could get there.
No, it was a
But
challenge. He
the
saw it as
whole-
another challenge
The
that
whole
he wanted
scene
to
was beautiful
conquer.
almost. So, like in my opinion, like look, I'm a big proponent of love. I mean, I think we're all here in loving relationships at the end of the day. And don't act like we're not all whipped like the family pig.
All right, all
All
right.
right, but what I'm saying is like the way that he
Self-rejecting, Nick.
describes like love. He's like literally saying he's like love is mutual respect. Love is an understanding. Love is a trust. Love is a bond.
Can I
He's
trust
like,
you?
He's like, I can trust you. I respect you. And if you can respect me and trust me, at the end of the day, he's like, we can build on the romance. And like, look, it became a point where I'm
But
like,
I don't know why he trusted her so much.
I 100%
Like,
agree with that. But Saman, what I'm trying to point out is like, honestly, under those circumstances, like, fuck, if someone said that to me, I'm like, as a man, as someone who is a left brain thinker rather than a right brain thinker who struggles to use his emotional aspect.
Are you a type A? You're a type A?
Absolutely. Like I'm like, holy
I don't know
shit!
what that
Like
means.
I don't think I could say no to that proposal. Like I'm a straight man. I'm 100% like, yeah, let's get married. With
So
another
yeah,
dude.
De Niro, let's
I'm like,
do it.
I respect you, and yeah, you're right. I trust you. Fuck, we should be married.
Yeah.
See,
That
I
makes 100% sense.
think it goes back to him. I think he was like kind of betting the odds. Like, okay, he's probably doing the math in his head. He's like, okay, if I do this, and that, yeah, she'll definitely fall in love with me. Like, I'll get her somehow.
I don't think it was, because I think it was for him upholding his image that he has spent like years creating this facade of this like master of the world person where he has everything down to a T. You know, even at the beginning of the movie when he finally gets to casino, he's timing everybody. Everything is calculated to like
He's telling them to count the blueberries in every fucking muffin.
Yeah, he's getting mad at the dealers because they like throw the chips a certain way.
yeah. Like, or if you're looking at stuff like it makes you look like a weak dealer, and that's how people try to like screw you over. So it's like it's all these little things, and I think Ginger was like the top of the cake, where he's like, this is going to make my image of what I want, or what I want to project to the world to look like.
Yeah, that's where his ego took over, and he's like, I have to have her. And I mean, it's an interesting thing because this movie has no shortage of beautiful women. Has a shit ton of ugly ass motherfuckers.
He could have literally
But no.
gotten any other
ugly
girl.
Italians.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, with his status and control that he had, he could have gone after anyone, you know. And then he just chose to stay with this dysfunctional relationship.
When we were
just
rewatching this
because.
film, I mean, towards the end of the film, when he becomes a talk show host, he has like a co-host, and his
Beautiful.
co-host is a beautiful woman, and it doesn't seem like my girlfriend pointed out that when we were watching it, like, oh, why is she always next to him? Like, it almost seems like he was cheating on Ginger. But to be fair, the entire movie, when they were showing her, they never gave off flirty or sexual vibes. The same way that, for example, you see Ginger and Nikki flirting with each other and literally kissing, fucking, and everything.
That was a
else,
twist, man.
right?
That
Eats
hurt
the dick.
me.
He goes, oh.
Like it almost seemed like for everything that was wrong with Ace, he did not really give off that vibe of like, I'm trying to cheat. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it is implied. And it's probably likely that his character did cheat on Ginger in the back, especially towards the end when their marriage was completely destroyed.
I think when it was
nothing.
falling apart, more than likely. But
But
also, it's like I don't know. I
But
feel like he stayed loyal.
But
to
I
her.
think Ace's character in the
Throughout
movie
everything.
really cared about his kids. Like
100%.
so did like
well,
Nikki's
even
kid.
Nikki, like shit, there was I mean,
He was like, it doesn't matter what I was doing the night before, I would always make Nikki Jr. my food, like food in the morning.
yeah,
Well,
Nikki would always show up
And
with Sam.
here's a little tidbit about that. They interviewed the actual son of the guy of who's Nikki's
Lefty?
No, of Nikki's actual character.
Oh, that
yeah,
guy.
Nikki was the other one.
His son, he's like, dude, I never knew my dad was like this fucking crazy. Like he came to me, he was a normal dude when he was around me. Mainly breakfast, like all this shit was
You're
true.
like, that's just at work over there.
Yeah,
killing
like-
people.
Isn't that crazy that that's a
good dads.
dynamic? Like that's a 180 from what you see in certain regular households where dad at work is like the nicest, most kind individual. He's like
You mean at home?
No, I'm saying at work.
And then
or
once he
at
gets
the
home,
bar.
okay.
then once
And
he
then
gets
at
home,
he's a destructive,
Okay.
evil bastard. Like
Well,
that's not my father, and I don't think that's
you
any
also
of our
gotta
fathers, but-
realize who they're portraying here,
Yeah.
which is like typically Italians, and they're deeply rooted with family values. So
Mafia.
the mafia.
the mafia.
Ah,
we don't
No,
want to.
100%.
We don't want
I
to
mean,
call
tomato,
out.
It
tomato,
literally
right?
talks about that. It's like
Hey, it's a cannoli.
The guys back home.
Gabagoo.
It said it towards the end when they were insinuating, and they asked, "Is Nikki messing with Ace's woman?" And they said the guys back
He
home is
lied.
not.
Isn't that crazy that that's where they draw the line?
That's where they draw the
we'll
line.
fucking kill people. We will straight up like you know
Hey.
just,
Cheat on our wives, just not with.
Not
other's
within
wives.
the
Other's
family.
wives.
Yeah,
Not
no,
within the
they're just
family,
like-
fellas.
yeah, that's fucking
It's
crazy.
insane.
I kind of want to talk about the way Dickie treated women, man. Like
mean-
he'd just be talking to them, leading them to his car, and all of a sudden just thrusting their head
mean,
on his
you know,
crotch.
He's like, this pink veil right here.
Right, and
I'm
he
not
didn't
gonna
stop
lie.
talking. He didn't
Look,
stop talking.
I want to say, I'm a feminist. I'm all.
Shut
But that was
up.
the fucking most hilarious
Only
shit in the
on
world.
record.
On the record,
He did
I'm a
not give a
feminist.
fuck. He was like, I'm gonna keep talking about veal. He's like, other restaurants got the pink veal, but we got the milky white veal. Meanwhile,
Sloppy top.
and like it was hilarious too, because the second instance of that, when he was doing that with Ace's wife with Ginger, I literally was like watching it and I heard a zipper and I was like, was that a zipper? As he's still talking. And like then I heard some belts. I was like, no, it wasn't.
I was like,
and
no,
then
it must be the
he
trailer.
grabs the fucking head and just starts pulling her in to give her.
But you know what? He had that kind of power. I mean, you're not gonna tell this mob boss that can get you
Look,
killed.
I'm
He's a
100%.
tiny guy.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I would beat
Hey,
the
Alexis,
shit out of
size
him.
has nothing to do with it. You see the
Absolutely.
fucking
Are
balls
you
on that
kidding me?
man?
It's the confidence.
I
It's
have
the
to
confidence.
raise my foot 6 inches to kick him in the nuts. That's how short this motherfucker is. I
He's
would
a
beat
small
Joe
dude.
Pesci to a pulp if I saw him.
I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if you
you're-
had a
no,
pen.
no,
If
no,
you
no,
had
but
a
you're-
pen, though,
but-
you'd be fucked.
He couldn't reach me. I'd hold him by the head.
It's not about the size and physicality,
But which
Nick.
head?
It's about
Which
his
head?
fucking the weight this man carries with the fucking like
Yeah,
with
some
respect,
thick hands.
the
And
people, the
and
manpower.
obese Joe Pesci is still 120.
Either way, you know, you're not gonna say no to this mob boss dude that will kill you the next. You can kick him in the
I'm
nuts
not afraid
today.
of him. I'm afraid of his guys for sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Nick, I mean, you could say that,
Yeah.
but like,
But you know, he did that with Ginger, and then he did that with that like really beautiful like dancer that they introduced to the casino, right? He was
yeah,
like,
his
"Hey,
restaurant.
come with me, come with me." Boom.
And then when he finally sits down, when Ginger comes storming in the restaurant, and then he's talking to Joey. He's like, Joey, I think I really fucked up this time.
So this chick is crazy, guys. This chick is crazy.
Damn.
no,
You
yeah.
realize a lot of things after you get dome. Right?
Yeah, he's like,
That's when the realization comes in. You're like, oh shit. But no, I mean, we talked about just in general too, like the portrayal of the sexism, obviously in this movie. I don't think anything by Martin Scorsese in the way that he directed this is meant to kind of help sexism or push sexism. I think it's literally just to showcase it. It's
Yeah.
exactly what happened in the
I don't think it reflects like his mindset. It just
just
is what
reflects
it
the
is.
reality
No,
of what it was.
It's the no, that's how it was back then. So
It's unfortunate, 100%. I mean, like people like you guys talked about how you hated Ginger. Ginger's character, obviously played by Sharon Stone, was the only person to win an Oscar in this film, and she did a phenomenal job of playing a woman that was hated.
she did amazing.
But
Yeah.
let's be honest. I mean, a lot of the reason why she was hated is she was groomed as a child by Lester the Molester.
Lester the molester.
She felt such guilt probably by that she kind of had some sort of Stockholm syndrome where she fell in love with her basically predator, and could not get rid of that. Even though Ace provided some protection, she still felt some way, shape, or form she was ruining her life. That all the men around her were trash. Even Ace wasn't really good for her in general. So I mean, it's tough.
It's crazy because you feel like I feel like Ace did right by her though. Like
I
from,
feel like-
from
I mean-
the outside looking in,
I
at
mean,
least
he gave her too much.
But that's the
comparatively
problem.
to the other men in her life.
but-
You know
like,
what, you
look
say
at fucking
that, but
Nikki.
in-
Look
in
at
what-
fucking
in-
Lester. You know,
Look
sorry.
at 2023 and tell me one relationship in which 16-hour workdays works for a marriage. You're right, 100%.
It doesn't. You're right.
100%. He wasn't abusive. He
Yeah.
didn't seem like a cheater when they were good, and he loved her, and he showered her with gifts. But at the end of the day, he coerced a woman who did not love him into marriage by being logical thinker, kept convincing her by showering her with gifts.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
got mad when she kept telling him,
It was
"I don't
it
love
was
you."
a
That's true.
transactional relationship.
And then it like she
Yeah,
had
there
a kid that
definitely
she-
wasn't any love, but I also don't feel
Not
like
on
she
her
deserved
side.
to do those things.
No,
to him.
she had
So-
a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, her name's Ginger.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're
That's
right.
already-
Ace wasn't the fucking best person in the world either.
No.
So it's a matter of perspective.
Better
I
than
guess.
her though.
You know, I mean, we've talked.
Well, in this relationship,
We've
Yeah,
talked
this
in a
one.
very like circular form in this podcast about this movie. I think one of the interesting things to point out, I'd seen a Scorsese talk about this film, and he mentioned the fact that this film has no plot whatsoever. He's like, this is
Oh,
a
yeah.
film that has story, has great characters, but has zero plot. And like the idea that at the end of the day, all he's doing is showing you a kind of like the life of. It doesn't have a story that it's not pushing.
Interesting.
It's pushing hidden agendas, and like that's Scorsese, I think, written kind of to a T, is that he never tries to tell you that there's toxic masculinity in the world. He never tries to tell you that we should kind of push away from ego and kind of the pursuit of everything, even when you have so much that you could just be content and happy and enjoy yourself without kind of destroying yourself through pursuing and going above and beyond what you need. But I think it was such a good story, kind of the way that he told it, and the way that he showed the lives kind of jumping back and forth between timelines and different eras of like these characters' lives, and letting the narrators be two different characters so that it doesn't feel like there is a main character. It feels like you can bounce to Nikki and it's not talking about the antagonist. Like in some cases, I'm sure there are some of us you know, some more twisted individuals, if I'm being honest, that see Nikki
Sickos.
as the protagonist. I mean, at the end of the day, one thing I could say is that Nikki was the one who was technically staying with the mob's ideology. I mean,
Can I ask something
Go ahead.
after you're done?
No, I was gonna say because like Nikki did kind of obviously start skimming from the mob. He did start growing his own empire past what he should have, but he was not like Ace in the sense that he all of a sudden started trying to become a talk show host and trying to make something more of himself. Like his ego got away from him, absolutely, but his whole scheme was about scheming. His whole idea was, I'm gonna make the boys back home money, and yeah, sure, eventually.
Well, he was kind of upset with Ace too, because he's like, yo, this guy forgot like why we're here.
He's like, we're not here to fucking like run a casino.
He's trying to be legit, and I'm here trying to bring back money to these old ass fucking dudes.
I mean, and I think it goes to the
here.
point of like made men versus non-made men. I mean, Ace wasn't a made man, and it was for a reason. Ace was there because he knew how to make money, not because he knew how to be a mobster.
Yeah.
None of his persona ever dictated that he had what it takes, to be honest. I mean, even the most like I do want to get to a segment where we just talk about like all of the violence in the film and like go over different scenes, go over the tensions in different scenes. I think it'd be really good to kind of like really focus on that, but like just going into the fact that I mean, you watch Goodfellas, you watch The Godfather, like the characters who are affiliated are gangsters. They're all mobsters that they know how to get down and dirty, and they know how to kill when it needs to be done. And Ace looked deeply uncomfortable doing everything that it took.
Because he wasn't a real mob guy.
He did it,
No,
and also
he
the
wasn't
things that he was doing, he didn't need to. You know, in like the levels of like,
No.
He was trying to be legit in a illegitimate like situation.
yeah.
I mean, I think Ace was grounded in the sense that he was saying, he was like, dude, I have a good thing going for us. Like, if we just fucking stick to the plan, we can probably continue being successful, continue giving the boys back home money. I will say that, I mean, it kept mentioning towards the end of the film that the guys were skimming more and more and more to the point where, like, the guys back home were like, what the fuck? Like, this used to be $70,000. Now it's like $10,000 that I'm getting. Like, why am I getting so little? This makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. You mind if I jump back though?
Go for
Because
it.
we have two narrators.
Okay.
Who was better, De Niro or
Joe
Pesci?
Pesci, bro.
Pesci.
Pesci's like one of the greatest mobsters.
You know, I liked
in cinema.
I
Yeah.
actually really like De Niro for the sense of like this is one like I've been mentioning this entire time. This is one of the few mobster movies where you really get the eyes and the kind of like you get the sense of someone who doesn't necessarily want to be in the situation that he's in, especially once he gets a taste of the straight and narrow life.
Where he doesn't have to like watch over his bag. He doesn't
Yeah.
need Nicky. He just like
He's, I mean, and especially
But
being
he
Robert
becomes
De
a
Niro,
politician.
I mean,
Yeah.
you see Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver, fucking unhinged and crazy. Every other movie, Robert De Niro is a badass. But seeing Robert De Niro be a petrified guy who wouldn't like, and he's still stone cold and like secure in himself as a man, but he very much is very insecure about his relationship with Ginger. He's very insecure about his safety when it comes to being around Nikki towards the end of the
Actually,
film.
now that I think about it, he doesn't do any of the violence.
No.
Apart from like maybe smacking his wife around a little bit.
But
Well,
that's because
even- I'm
she was being a bitch.
I don't think he even really smacked.
She deserved
No,
it,
she-
guys.
Of course not.
I don't know. She was pretty coked out at that time.
Yeah,
But
she
even-
was
I'm
on
not gonna
something.
lie. I mean,
Yeah.
shit. We want to talk about. like,
And the reason he did beat her up was because she's like, dude, where's my fucking kid? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean that bitch tied her kid up. Like,
hey, that's called free
fucked up.
babysitting, okay? Shut the fuck up.
She's like, I was gonna be right back.
Revolutionary. I'm already adopting that method, okay? All you gotta do is tie it up, practice your bondage
So you're
skills.
canceled, man. You're canceled.
See,
I
Can't
never
have
said you
kids.
should do it. I'm just saying she
No,
deserved
but
it.
it was absolutely terrible. But I mean, even I don't recall. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Listeners can also chime in. I don't recall a moment where even he was beating his wife. He was restraining her at times, and at times he was forcing her out of the house. But I don't think he was doing it in an aggressive manner. Like it came to show that they were portraying him as a kind of like a pussy. And he's like, oh,
He was a cuck.
he's the guy who makes money, and that's his fucking job. And then you see again, it's the most hilarious thing in the world. Joe Pesci is the most like. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a little secret.
Let's do it.
I never saw mob movies until recently in my life.
Wow.
In my 20s. So
Yo.
the fact of the matter is that it's so hilarious when I watch these movies and I think of Joe Pesci as the Home Alone guy. Oh my god! I keep thinking of the sticky
Yeah.
bandits and I think about how a little fucking kid
It's the
got
Wet Bandits.
No, it was the Wet Bandits in the first movie, but Home Alone 2 was Sticky Bandits.
Oh,
They had to
shit,
change.
you might be
Marv
right.
upgraded the game, bro.
Oh, you
Yeah.
might
Alright.
be right. You might be right.
All right, but when when I think about fucking Casino and I think about Home Alone 1 and 2, it's just hilarious to me because again, it's like I get it. These guys were. I mean, I think the real the real Nicky, his nickname was the Ant. He was a short guy, and I know we make a lot of jokes about him being.
You just shook your head, Isaac.
I don't think that's.
I looked it up recently, but
Damn.
go ahead,
Calling
fact
you
check
out,
me.
Gator. Calling you
So
out.
you're wrong.
The point is, I mean, these guys got guns, these guys got knives. I know we're all big dudes, and we say like I wouldn't be intimidated, but you called me out on my bullshit. And you're 100%
No,
right,
no,
George.
dude. I think
These guys are intimidating as
Obviously,
fuck.
size, everything. Like you're like, if you saw this guy and you didn't know the weight that he carried, maybe you'd be like, yeah, I could fucking take that guy. But then you realize, I'm like, oh shit.
Well, that's
like,
what they said, right? They said if you beat him with your hands, he's gonna come back with a knife. If you beat him with a knife, he's gonna come back with a gun.
Gun.
And if you beat him with a gun, you better hope you kill him. 'Cause he
Damn.
won't stop coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 100% the truth. It was
He
a
can't
great
stop.
fucking
I mean,
movie.
he can't
that-
stop
that
coming.
Yeah, bro.
that
I'm coming
fucking
daily,
scene-
bro. Fucking ropes.
that one scene, not from Casino, but where he's just like, I think it was it Goodfellas, where he's just like, funny how, like I'm
like,
funny how.
Like, do I look
Fucking
like a
tell-
comedian?
Yeah, he's like
And
tell me, explain to me how
And
I'm funny.
Scorsese is so good at letting his actors kind of improv. Like Joe Pesci does a lot of that work.
Yeah.
A lot of the curse work. I'm not gonna lie. Like hopefully he doesn't do a lot of the.
You're right.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Hopefully
Dude,
a
it's
lot
like
of
one
the
of your favorite
cursing.
films, bud. What's
I
going
know.
on?
Hopefully a lot of the cursing doesn't come directly from Joe Pesci because goddamn he had some things to say about our Jewish people and like,
Some of our more ethnic
yeah,
partners
our
out
ethnic
there.
partners out there. You know. Joe
Very.
Pesci isn't like that anymore. All right, let's
I think he has something about the something against the desert or something. I don't know.
Sand something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not sure.
but yeah, I mean, to your point, like Joe Pesci did a great job narrating an asshole and
Yeah.
a crooked.
But I love watching them.
Dude, you know, I think what has to do a lot that drives him to sound like an asshole is his actual voice. Like his actual voice,
A little
like
nasally,
fucking
small.
just like pukes dick. Like you've never seen Joe Pesci like. Just,
I've never heard that.
Hey,
I've never
that's
heard
what Ginger
that.
does daily, bro.
Well, apparently she was over there giving sloppy to both of them. Jesus,
Fucking
and
anybody,
fucking
man.
Lester the molester. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that. I kind of want to
That little love triangle that they had going.
That love
my
triangle was
God.
insane.
That
Like,
disgusting love.
I mean, I think it's
It made me
it's-
sick to my stomach. I was
But it-
just like, oh my
there's
god.
no way she didn't have
George
AIDS.
would never be cucked.
But it's crazy.
Never.
I mean, the idea that like again, like I can't give Ace credit for, or I can't give Ginger all the credit for being the terrible wife, the terrible person, because at the end of the day, when you find out your wife is calling her ex-boyfriend on your wedding day, and you don't care, and you still say like I'll make it work, your ego gets in the way of the fact that like reality's there. She doesn't love you, bro.
You think that's ego at that point?
I think
Oh,
100%.
100%.
It's 100%.
maybe he
ego.
just loves her.
He doesn't want to
so
admit
much.
that
No,
he
no,
can't
change
have her.
He does
100%.
love
He's like,
her.
I can fix her.
You're 100%
She's
right.
broken.
He does love her. But the problem isn't the fact that he loves her. The problem is the fact that he's so good at everything in his life. And there's not a single part
So we're circling back to this. Yeah, this is the one problem he can't fix.
He can't
and
fix it.
He's like, this is the challenge that I haven't been able
This
to
is legitimately
conquer.
him failing, and he can't see himself fail.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one really good point that I noticed too. That he literally talks his way into like out of every situation.
wanna get
out
into
of
that in a second.
you know, he's able to make things work no matter the circumstances, especially like his professional.
But there is
life.
people like that, man. And
No,
just, like,
no, but I love it.
charismatic.
Yeah,
So-
I've worked with somebody like that.
So there's a particular scene in the desert where
Yes.
Nikki makes him like meet him off the road. No, but he basically
Gonna
like
get into everybody's favorite scene
Nikki.
right now.
No, but yeah, Nikki brings him out to the desert, and one thing that I noticed is he doesn't let him get a word in.
No,
he
immediately.
straight up just goes into full on aggravated, very like really
And just
firm
like this,
tone.
Nick.
Yeah.
All dicks are
So he
guy just
basically
talks.
like
This guy
he
just
doesn't
talks.
let him get a fucking word in, which is amazing because it's like Ace is really good at talking himself out of situations, but in this particular circumstance, he couldn't do anything because he's pressuring him so much to the point where he's like he's stumbling and he's like, oh shit.
Well, even the
So-
fact that he changes like the meeting time, right?
Oh
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
meeting location.
Nikki
right?
shows up late just to fuck with
And
him.
he purposely
Yeah.
puts the location a couple hundred
And
yards
he's like
away from the
outside.
road.
What
Which
did
makes
what
me
did Ace
nervous.
say?
Yeah.
He
Which
was like,
makes me
I give myself like a 50-50
He's like, normally,
chance.
I think he said, normally I give myself like a 90% chance.
90%,
walk
yeah.
away with Nikki. This time I gave myself 50.
No, I think he said 50-50. Yeah, yeah.
No, he's saying on a normal situation, like
90.
any other day, it'd be like a 90% chance that I'm going to be fine with Nikki.
So
'Cause but now it's 50-50.
Yes, host.
So now that we've talked about, I think, the body of this movie, let's move on to what happened in the ending and what an ending it was. Like you start seeing people get whacked. You start seeing people fuck.
Yeah.
You start seeing
Honestly, Nikki deserved to get whacked way sooner than he did, because like that
Dude.
motherfucker had it coming, bro.
They killed him and his brother at the same
That was
fucking.
fucked up.
And
That's- what a
they
way to go,
fucking buried him alive to send a fucking statement. They're just like, oh,
Oh
we
yeah,
gotta-
so I don't know if you, but why do they strip him? Is it a humiliation thing?
I think so. So like when they find it, you're all fucked up
You're
already.
all
and
fucked
shit. Yeah.
up, naked and shit.
Yeah.
I think it's like,
that's when you're at your most vulnerable.
and you know what? This is all speculation, but I kind of almost want to see it like a symbolism, like, you know, the clothes that were on your back were given by the mob. The mob took care of you. The mob.
Whoa.
gave you money, the mob-
Wow.
Look at
was
this
stripping-
guy.
About that,
It's almost
man.
like stripping you of your title, you know?
Look at
stripping
this
you
guy.
Of all, like,
It's like this.
Philosopher.
Give me your badge and gun.
Exactly.
Equivalent.
You're done.
yeah.
You're done.
But I mean, even fuck, like,
Dude, and they found
And did you guys-
every one of them. They
you know
did.
what's crazy too is, did you guys know? So
Shallow graves, bro. They
one of
wanted them to find
the
him.
one of the advisors on the film was an old mobster.
Yeah.
There was an
Wow.
advisor on the film that he basically was helping Scorsese around the film kind of understand the methodology, what they did. I'm sure this is something Scorsese did often and on his mob films, because
How does he get away with that kind
I'm
of
sure he joined the mob at some point.
I'm pretty sure he asked for permission.
100%.
Like all these guys.
You
that
gotta go to
talk-
the Godfather, kiss the ring.
Yeah, he's like,
Well, they talk about that like
we
where
give you
like
our
these,
blessing.
you come to me.
well like they talk about it because like these directors are glorifying these guys' like lives, so they actually appreciate.
Yeah,
In a
you're right.
way,
They want to kind of
They glorify it for 90% of the film, and then at the end, you see how fucked up it really is.
No,
That's
but,
the whole point, though,
But
yeah.
like that's the thing, though. Like the mobsters want to go, like they want the real thing to be portrayed, not like for them that's glorified. Like
Yeah.
you know the reality of it. They don't want some fucking cookie cutter bullshit that didn't go
No.
down. So it's
Like,
like
we go out in a blast, fellas.
yeah, no, I mean it's the same thing with serial killers nowadays. Like there's fucking
I
people
know,
with.
everybody wants to be a serial killer.
No, but like there's people that write a manifesto and then they go shoot up a school and it's like they want to be on the news,
Well,
they want to be known, they want to be
like documentaries. All these girls and young men and women were like idolizing, dressing up as Dahmer, or wanting to honestly
dude,
sexualize.
yeah,
it.
Dude, I
people,
met,
like,
I met
write
somebody that was
letters.
sympathizing with Dahmer, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, this guy
Yeah, he was a
killed
fucking-
like so many like young men.
It's a
and
fucking
you're
fetish. It's
sympathizing?
crazy.
This
I don't
is
know what it
insane.
is. There's like women that
But-
will write
but I-
letters to people in prison.
Yeah, but I
serial
do see
killers,
your
all that
point
shit.
about these movies. That yeah, it does kind of like glorify, and it seems really really cool. Honestly, like to me, like if I wasn't really smart, I'd be like, I want to be.
I disagree
want to join the
100%.
mob a little.
What?
Look, here's my thing. I think Scorsese
I think it does make it seem pretty
I,
cool.
I think Scorsese, one of the best things that he does is that he literally shows you the entire life of a mobster and shows you exactly where they end up. And unlike like the educational films or the films where they're literally feeding you this is why the moral code kind of, or like this is the story behind it and the main theme and the lesson learned. Scorsese is trying to make it more subtle, but it's still there. I mean, there isn't one character in this movie that I would like to be at the end of the movie. Like, they lived crazy lives, and the only one who really lived, I mean, even the mobsters, I mean, look at the stress that they were under the entire time. Look at the fact that they're scrutinized. I mean, think about the fact that they're meeting in a fucking grocery store in Kansas
Yeah,
City.
but you got to think about it, Nick. Like some people don't look at it that way. Maybe that's your like personal opinion. Like I would not want that life, but some people are like, "Fuck it, let's like get all the glory, everything, and then die
then-
young."
Women,
and fucking,
But
money,
that's 100%,
violence.
You're 100% right, but I think that's the mass
Bitches.
minority of people.
I don't think that's a minority.
That's
Just
all of
because,
it.
okay,
all
sorry,
of it right
Look,
there.
look at
Like
all
to-
these shows right now, like Narcos Mexico,
100%,
Colombia, all those. They glorify to the point where people are like full on, like, I want to live that lifestyle.
But here's
I
the
love
difference between, that's why my point is, I'm not saying that that's not true and that's not a film trope or a movie or a TV show trope. I'm saying Scorsese is different. That when you watch Narcos and when you watch like other types of movies like that are gangsters or thieves or heists, people get away with it. My
Fast and
point is,
Furious.
there's not a single fucking person who got away with it. I mean, even think about the mob that lived.
Well, look, I think the way
it.
that
There's a few that got away with
I
it.
think now we're talking about individual egos that start happening, and I think at least one thing is like, oh man, like if I've seen this movie, right, I saw where they went wrong. Maybe I can do differently, and I think it plays into like the individuals, like the individual viewer's ego. I'm like, I could probably.
Oh
live
yeah,
that.
it's like maybe I could be better.
Yeah, I can be better, and
I
like,
won't get caught.
You won't get caught.
I can fix this.
And I've heard. And I've heard.
understand that.
I think that's ridiculous to think, though.
Yeah, no,
Like,
you're
come on.
you're doing something illegal. Like you're gonna get caught.
My
Pablo
whole
Escobar
point with
built
it,
an
though, is-
empire.
My whole point with it though is with
Like,
saying
no-
that
no
nobody
one's
gets
Yeah,
ever-
away
but again,
with it.
his ego got.
Sorry,
in,
Nick.
Yeah.
No, you're good. I said my whole point with saying that nobody gets away with it more than anything is like, yeah, of course, the people who got away with it are the ones running the fucking mob.
And this
Like,
is
look,
back then too. It
And
was
I'm
easier.
not saying like at the end of the
Yeah, they
day,
got
like for
cameras
example, right?
everywhere
Like,
now.
Yeah.
like you watch all
No
these
TikTok.
movies where the president of the United States has the power. I'm not going to be president of the United States anytime soon. Like you watch the movies where the people who are at the top of a corporation, the CEOs, are running shit. I'm not looking to be a CEO of $1 billion company.
Okay, wait. I think I lost you a little bit.
What I'm
So
saying is this: is the only people who truly got away with anything and ended up with a life that was
Worth living, maybe?
worth living and happy, truly happy, were probably the mobsters who were running the whole show. Was like
Yeah,
Reno.
because they were all old.
Those were the guys who still
Old
lived.
and
at
fat.
The guys who were the ones in Vegas, the guys who were in the operation, even Ace who survived. Ace ended up in San Diego and he's looking at horses fucking race all day. He's doing the same shit
With
he was
his
doing
big ass
before
glasses.
with his big ass glasses, and he looked dead inside. He looked again just like it was quoted by Nikki at the beginning of the movie. He looked like he wasn't happy doing what he was doing.
Well, look, I think to go back, I don't think that realistically we gotta look at the time. You know, this happened like between 85 and like
Late 70s to mid 80s.
yeah. So you know, and then at this point is when they started really cracking down on the mob, and they came out with new laws to actually imprison these guys. And so like the older generation that were grew up in the mob, they rose up the ranks, and they're at a position of power. Like they're like, dude, I don't really care because I'm not gonna get, if I get caught, like we go back to Goodfellas and they talked about it when they would go to prison. For them, it would be like a vacation because they had like a sick ass fucking, pretty much a penthouse in the jail where they would cook. They would still have they would still do their daily stuff, the daily tasks, and still gamble, still be able to run stuff. But once we got to like Ace's time, like it's really like, okay, get as much money as you can, get out, and hopefully live a nice happy life.
Yeah, look at fucking Escobar, for example. When he got in prison, motherfucker had like he had a soccer field
He
in
was
there.
running it.
He was having like parties, full on everything. It's like,
But I think
I think
with
back then
movies
it
like
was
this is,
different
like,
time.
That's Escobar.
But
Yeah.
But Escobar has hundreds of people in his network that died for nothing. And that's what I'm saying is with Scorsese movies is that he's not like, I mean, people talk about, for example, Goodfellas versus this one, and the idea of Goodfellas showing you actually kind of the beginnings. Like Casino dumps you into like, it shows you a small glimpse of Ace and Nicky at the beginning of their kind of careers in the mob, and then all of a sudden they're high rollers. They're made men or people running a fucking $100 million
Ace was
casino.
never a made man.
No, he wasn't. But I'm saying like the amount of power
Pretty
Ace
close.
held,
Pretty close.
like in Vegas at that time, was pretty crazy.
Well, the reason is because he was an earner.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. But my point being is, you see Goodfellas, and Goodfellas takes a lot more time to build made men, and it shows kind of like the
Wait, in Goodfellas, none of them were made except for
no, the mob boss is back home
Ray Liotta was like
in
the
Chicago.
kid,
Right?
right?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Ray
sorry.
Liotta was half Irish, and he was never into the mob. The only person that was in the mob was Joe Pesci's character and Robert De Niro's character. Oh, actually, Robert De Niro's character was never in the mob because he's also half Irish.
Exactly. But
So,
my
a lot-
point with this is saying that basically Goodfellas shows the beginnings of joining kind of the underground, right? The criminal
This is
underground.
more like towards the end.
This
of-
is more towards the end of life. And what you would argue, honestly, is where you're getting the benefits. I mean, you guys are all talking about how, like, holy shit, like, I mean, yeah, who the fuck wouldn't like to see, like, I'm buying a new suit, I'm, talking to women about veal in a car and getting head at the same time, like,
Yeah, who wouldn't
it's the
want
best
that?
thing in the world.
guys?
but the whole
well,
point...
we know what Nick's idea.
We know what
fucking
Nick
life
wants.
would
Yeah,
be.
but I just want to talk about veal. I don't even care about that. but no, I just think it's crazy. You think about the fact that like it's showing you none of the parts where they're young kids getting beat up. They're having to fight for every little decision that the mob is trying to give them. Having to fend off other Italian men who are also trying to come up like in this world, right, in this industry, quote unquote. And it's just fully guys who are appreciating the luxuries that and the benefits that they're now reaping as older gentlemen. Again, and even especially someone like Ace, who doesn't have to partake in the violence, who doesn't have to partake in like the shitty aspects of.
He's just taking care of shit.
He's just good at what he fucking does. Like
Yeah.
there's literal people who have his job today. Like there's
100%.
like that's his. Not even. And they don't work for a mob. They just work for Caesar's Palace.
It's a career.
Yeah.
It's a fucking career.
We
And
can go
like-
apply to it right now.
And that's my point, though. It's
Probably
like,
not get the job.
We won't get it.
Resume.
And-
Maybe
and-
get her.
And
But we
would you
gotta
want
apply.
those 16-hour days? Would you want all that? Some people would absolutely want it. My whole point with that
Yeah.
has been like, it's just, I don't know. To me, it seems like Martin does a great fucking job.
Scorsese,
No,
you
we're
don't know
on a
him.
first name basis. Me and
You
Martin.
don't know him.
And he don't know you, Nick.
But he does a great job of showing the fact that there's a lot of really cool shit associated with the mob. But at the end of the day,
You just
not
end
worth
up
it.
6
It's not
feet
worth
under.
Well,
man.
but I think he's just like there's a price. With
It's
that,
not
I
worth
think.
it for you. I feel like all I'm saying is like I agree as well. I'm like fuck that. That life would not be okay with me. Like I do not want to die young. I do not want to sacrifice everything to end up in jail, fucking in a ditch somewhere in the desert, or like fucking being someone's right hand man where I know that they're doing shady shit like that. But I do see how it appeals to certain people because it's like I mean these people are getting everything. They're getting the luxury, they're getting the status, they're getting the power because it's like people respect them. They walk into a room and they're like, oh shit, oh fuck, like you know Ace. It's like just that kind of shit. It appeals people, but definitely I think Martin Scorsese did do a great job in showing the good and the bad because he wasn't like we were saying he's not glorifying them, but this is exactly what the mob would want to be portrayed as anyway. So it's just like, but I think he did an amazing job of storytelling, you know, the truths of everything. But I do see that it can kind of skew people where it's like, yo, this is exactly what I want to do. But I mean, that's just because people are crazy.
I think he
that's-
just does a hard job of telling the realities, like the good parts and the bad parts. You make of it what you will. You know, like you want to do this, go for it. If you don't. You know, it all comes down to what you think as a person, as a individual.
Because it's not all good. I mean, people were getting fucked up throughout the movie.
Yeah, people
You
were
know,
dying
in the beginning.
You're fucking
especially,
sleeping with
you know,
one eye
like-
open, watching your back at all times.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like
Like
a
he
good
shows us
place
the
to be.
luxuries all the time, but it's also all the bad
I mean,
shit.
there's also the idea that not a single one of those guys was actually truly loyal to anybody but themselves. I mean, even when we get to the point where
Oh, so that's actually one really good point that you bring up because Frank, fucking Nikki's right hand man, was the one that got the kill fucking shot in for Nikki. Like, you remember Frank?
Yeah.
Frank is right hand man. At the end, it's like,
Oh,
sorry,
eyebrows?
sorry, the boy's back home. He's like, I gotta do
Yeah.
it. I gotta kill you.
well, I mean, even
just
the idea
'cause
that like
orders.
when he starts asking him about, oh, is Nikki fucking around with Ace's girl?
Oh yeah.
He
yeah.
doesn't say he's loyal to Nikki, or he doesn't say he's loyal to Ace. It has
No,
nothing
but
to do with
Frank
He's
gives
like-
him the out. He tells him like, "Hey man, like you're not doing that." But even
No,
if
no,
he-
I'm saying when was it Reno? Was his name?
I think it was Reno, yeah.
wasn't it Frank?
Reno
No, no,
was
no.
a boss.
That's what I'm saying. When Reno
Oh,
asks
yeah, you're
him,
right. Reno's the boss.
he asks Frank. He says, "Is Nikki
Oh,
fucking
that's
around
right.
with Ginger?"
That's right.
Right?
I thought they were asking Nikki. No, but they asked Frank.
He
They
asked
asked Frank first.
Frank it narrates Frank for a second, and he switches, and he doesn't say, "Oh, I'm not gonna betray Reno," or sorry, "I'm not gonna betray Nikki," or you know what, I gotta be loyal to Ace, and I gotta say, you know what, this fucked up. He literally says, "If I say the truth, everybody dies," because these guys care
and then
about
he says,
that.
but if I say that Nikki's,
He says, "If I lie about it,
then Nikki's
I'm
a
gonna
kill
die
shot
one day
him.
for
Well,
lying." but it's gonna be fine.
I remember what he says. Like I don't know. I've never seen anything.
Exactly.
He keeps his hands clear because I'm like at the end of the day.
I love that though. The mob is like, yo, you can do anything. You can fucking kill someone, but don't fuck with someone's girl,
Not
bro.
your
Like,
buddy's
that's-
wife, man. You don't
Hey,
do that.
You know what?
You don't do that.
That's
Not
'cause-
somebody's wife,
Well, you
bud.
gotta think about it. You're fucking with family and business, and
Famiglia.
when you fuck around within the family,
It's
you're fucking up
not-
with the business, so you're ruining the whole thing.
I want to talk about the direction in Casino. Scorsese just has an eye, man, like no other. There's just these scenes, one in particular where you see a dice just rolling through.
Yeah.
And I can imagine filming that. They probably used a giant dice, like made for the movie.
Oh yeah,
And they just like threw it
it
across
had to
the room
be.
or something. It
couldn't
had to be
CGI.
giant.
It
Yeah,
couldn't
because
be
at the
CGI.
time
It was
it's
practical,
like,
right?
this was like in mid-90s, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 95.
And another thing, it was mid-90s. I didn't know that when I was watching. When I was watching, I was like, oh, yeah, this must be like late 80s or
Because it's
something.
Scorsese, dude.
Yeah, but
I mean,
dude, he's got some style, dude.
that man.
He's
does.
got style.
Well,
You know the wardrobe alone
The
was
wardrobe.
$1 million for
That's
just the
insane.
You
wardrobe.
know,
and that was in the 90s.
My favorite
Could
suit
you
of De
fucking-
Niro was the one. It was like the red and black suit.
mine was
that was sick.
mine was the pink and the white bottom.
That was sick too.
Yeah, no,
Go
but
white
I really
bottoms.
like the fact that at the end they also let him keep whatever they wanted for the wardrobe. So I would fucking the chinchilla coat.
Oh my
that's
God, the
mine,
chinchilla.
bro. Dude, have you ever felt chinchilla?
Nick's
Jesus
girlfriend
fucking
was,
Christ, it's so soft.
She
Oh,
felt
she was
so
against
bad.
Hey, I'm just
You know how many
saying,
chinchillas they had to kill for that fucking fur coat? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, every lump
That's at least
was one chinchilla,
500
right?
chinchillas, dude. Like,
Dude, that's what they're
easy.
going instinct or some shit like
Hey, that's
that.
good meat.
No, but the fur is insanely soft.
Yeah.
One of my friends had a chinchilla. Amazing.
But
So soft.
I love how the movie starts off by seemingly giving us the ending, but like obviously that doesn't happen. He survives, and you know.
It didn't tell us anything, really.
No,
I feel like
no.
it was just.
But
kinda
it
threw
set
off.
the mood of the movie.
It set a
Quickly.
tone. It set a tone.
Yeah, it set a tone.
Yeah.
Also, one of the best car bomb scenes in cinema, I would say.
Absolutely.
It was fucking raw. You didn't expect it.
See,
it was
nowadays
real.
it'd just be fake fire.
No, yeah, and then
fake
the fire.
CGI.
I mean, the fact that it was all practical, you just like,
Yeah,
holy
you could like
Well, I
see
mean,
it
to
coming
be
out of like
honest,
the stereo.
You saw the dummy in the car, so they could.
Well,
absolutely-
No,
Yeah.
no, it was actually, it was an
Yeah,
actual
but-
dude. When they did it, they
No,
no, it was a
like,
dummy.
Well, no, I know, but when
They killed
did,
somebody for
when
the
they-
film, obviously.
Hey, you let me fucking finish, George. Fuck.
Hey, can you bring it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Hey, Tony,
Thank you. Just tone it down.
This is,
You're
you
not
need to learn how to listen, George. Okay, this is one of your issues.
This is what you're doing.
This is what you need
This is
to
what I.
focus on.
This is what I want
I've
you
been
to
listening the
Got
entire
it?
time. What are you talking about?
Okay, no, so
You
like
have Master of
when
Disguise
like
coming
the
up
Robert De Niro scene where like they're actually coming out of the fire, like they recreate the car to be like a replica of the actual car itself.
Wow.
That actually blew up, where they had the actual plate, you know, that actually saved
Under the seat,
Yeah,
yeah.
they redid that with somebody like a stuntman actually
Yeah.
doing the explosion.
I still like. What kind of idiot puts the fuse under the fucking passenger seat? Like why would it blow under the
It
passenger
wasn't
seat?
they were because they want to make sure he's dead, dude. Why would that makes complete sense?
So do it under the driver's seat. Why the passenger
it
seat?
was under the driver's
No,
seat
No,
explain
no.
that the reason he survived was because it was put under the passenger seat.
because he had a driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, you're a mob
driven.
boss. Come on.
Yeah, he was
You
driving.
have a driver, like
I forget that. See, I'm
Isn't
not
that
part of the
obvious?
mob. I'm not part of the mob.
No, but I think he had one on the. I think he was driving himself by in real life. He was actually going to drive his car, but he did have that plate installed, and so like shit like that would happen, and give him a few seconds to
That's
get out of the
crazy,
fucking
dude.
car.
That's insane.
Imagine you having to think ahead of time for shit
Yeah.
like that. You're like, hey, they might want to fucking kill me one day, so I'm just gonna put a steel plate.
Dude, I'd
under my
have
fucking...
a heart
That's
attack.
manufactured
I'd have a
today.
heart
That's
attack
what they
like
were saying.
Artie.
Oh no, wait, it was.
That was part of the car, so they're saying this. They said that.
Didn't
model
you
of
just
car.
say that he?
No,
had to
he
go
was
No,
installed
you're
it.
right. No. I
No,
think they
it
did
was
mention
the
it was
car.
it was the
We
car
fact
model.
checked
That's
this,
how
but
they
the car,
that's how
they're
they
like,
did it.
Isaac,
they're like, it was
these are
dumb
two-
luck. Yeah.
We're on opposite ends here,
Oh, let me
fellas.
look.
These are two things you're missing.
This is
Isaac.
how the
First
car
you
was
get the-
designed according to the movie.
Yeah, so supposedly Mythbusters had even talked about it that the 1981 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz.
Oh, it was a cat.
Oh, wait, it was on Mythbusters.
That Robert De Niro's character basically specifically bought that car because it has an extra
Wow,
plate
myth
built into the floor.
busted.
So the car was built that
Dude,
way.
They just
Isaac's
don't-
wrong 2 for 2 right now.
That's
Whoa.
2 for 2.
2 for
Get it.
2.
And that's
Oh, you're
twice
fucking
the
up, bud.
Dude,
Wow.
it's just
Also,
changing here,
hey,
boys.
they just don't build cars like they used to, man.
No, absolutely
I don't
not.
know.
I mean,
Now with the
specifically.
fucking skid plate is plastic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've already
It's
lost
all
mine.
plastic.
But
It's
they're
all
safer.
The crumpling is a lot safer now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're not gonna have your engine block just crush you.
Yeah.
Crush your fucking chest and right in,
Yeah.
all the way in, dude.
Just fucking destroy your testicles.
I mean,
Why
speaking
would
of
it
violence
be
and
just a
indiscriminate violence, I kind of want to talk about
Well, I
like
don't
the
know,
craziness of
it's
this
like, you know,
of this movie
it's
with
what
the
you're saying.
violence. I think that one of the things that like did stand out. I mean, we talk about wanting to live these lives and stuff like that. And,
Well, I don't want to live these lives.
well, I mean, I know.
Fuck no.
Well, I'm saying some people might, but there's the interesting part of like there's the two characters. One that is Ace being respected by everyone, and Nikki being feared by everyone. But both were capable of doing some heinous things. I mean, we technically were exposed to Nikki right away with him fucking killing somebody with a pen over nothing.
Just like John Wick.
Fucking yeah, that was the original John Wick. Yeah,
I was.
It was Nikki. Just
yeah, 3 feet shorter, but it was still John Wick. Fucking
the agility on that guy
and
is
then when he's
unparalleled.
Dude, and
For
then
his size, he's like fucking Yoda.
I
Just,
know.
fucking
just jumping around.
dead, bro.
and then when you see when Ace's character he catches the cheater cheating and with the little like mechanism, little computer, and then he goes back like fucking break those fingers,
Dude, that was a great scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a
Even the
great
way
scene.
that
Just
he
like
caught him.
every angle,
Yeah.
the way he should. Yeah, it's just incredible.
yeah, tying his shoes to see that he's like, and like the showing his process of like elimination where he's like trying to decipher where's the cheat coming from. even
And how is it possible that it's
I
actually changed?
I really like that they added that in there because I don't know. I used to follow this crime thing where they actually explain what people were doing back in the day. So there used to be like this rod that this one criminal had created, where it was like a light rod. They would trick the machine into thinking that you had hit a jackpot, and you would stick it in the machine because of a certain like blinker that it had. It would trigger the mechanism, and you would get things.
Oh,
So
shit.
that was a cool little fucking Easter egg. I was just
George
like, oh,
was
shit.
looking up how to do it himself.
Yeah, no, I was
That's
just like,
how
all
I
right,
found
how
the
do I make 100,000
video. in 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's it. So no, it's fucking
So
crazy.
stick
but
a rod in the machine.
He's like, how can I 10x my money right now?
no, but yeah, it was crazy. Nikki's fucking just aggravation throughout the entire film, and you know the way that he was, it was fucking nuts. I mean, I think this is probably one of Scorsese's like most violent films. Considering,
I
mean,
don't think so.
I mean, compared to the other, I mean, what Goodfellas was.
I think
a little
Goodfellas
bit,
was more violent.
You think so?
Yeah, I remember.
I
I
feel like
remember
this one was
those.
a little more.
I remember those scenes more.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Look
the
at Nicki's
Departed.
dead.
The Departed
Nikki-
was violent too.
The Vice scene from
The Departed was-
Oh, when he was
The Departed
Where
was
his
violent, but
eye
in a different
bugged
way, though.
out.
It was
Like I didn't feel
different,
like menaced by these characters. With Nikki, I
It's
did.
probably- I think Shutter Island had a little bit more violence in this
No,
movie.
Shutter Island.
No,
was thriller.
Shutter Island, it was psychological.
violence
It was
in
all
my
psychological.
opinion.
Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Shark Tale. All
Shark
day.
Tale.
All day.
Hands down.
Most violent.
Hands
yeah,
down.
no, fucked up.
I
Fucked
mean,
up.
Definitely
come on,
his
they
best.
animated his eyebrows.
Scorsese didn't direct it, but all right, you know, he fucking started it close enough.
I'm excited for his new one that's coming up.
Shark Tale 2.
Killers of the Flower Moon. That's what it's called. right?
Holy shit!
I don't
I've
know.
heard nothing but good things.
We gotta watch more Scorsese movies. We gotta see
Scorsese?
some more
Bro, I
Lynch
mean,
movies.
you just have so many good
Four
ones.
guys
Brendan
to watch
Fraser's
more
in it.
films.
Yes, he is.
Wow, he just won the Oscar, dude.
Dude, Brandon Fraser,
He's in what movie?
shout out, love you.
The
The
next
new-
Scorsese film
Dude, he should have won an Oscar for the Mummies movies.
for the Mummy.
Are you
Mummy
kidding me?
Returns.
George of the
like,
Jungle, bro.
Action.
Yeah.
That was I
Monkey
used
Bone.
to watch The Mummy like on a weekly
Dude, that
basis
shit was
almost.
fucking
It was
Same.
great.
It was the
Absolutely
fucking
phenomenal.
shit.
And he broke his back on that film. Like,
Yeah.
did a
Dude, there's
He
a
almost
scene
died when he
Yeah,
was getting choked.
when he was
right?
getting choked. Yeah, I was just about to say it.
on the news. I was like, oh my god.
But Casino.
What a
Casino.
soundtrack,
But
too.
what did you
Alexis,
guys?
this
Oh,
is
did you guys
dude,
think about the
Louis
violence?
Prima.
Yeah.
Louis Prima, like throughout.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know what's funny too is apparently like a lot of this was based off of the original Casino Stardust, that no longer lives
Yes.
in Vegas.
Well, that was
And
the one that
so-
was run by the mob.
And so because
Yeah.
of that part of the soundtrack, one of I think they
God
played the
damn
movie-
it! Did
the
we watch
song-
the same fucking videos?
No,
'Cause-
I was looking at
George,
some
did
cool
you even
stuff,
watch the movie? That's what that sounds like, you fucking cock.
But the idea,
No. But like, I did rewatch it. Just I fell asleep. Not gonna lie, a little
Yeah,
bit.
but
Wow.
So
some
you
of the
didn't watch
interesting
it.
facts.
It's okay.
We've seen it like 5 times together.
Actually,
movie.
the first time I saw it was with you.
Yeah.
And then the
No,
second time was
100%.
with him
Wow.
last night.
No, wait, you guys watched it together?
Yeah, one of
The
his
fuck?
place.
You guys had a watch
Sick
party?
invite.
What
Sick.
the
Ice
fuck?
cream, chips.
You guys are pieces
Yeah, I wanted
of
to
shit.
fall asleep if I was there next to Nick. You know,
Yeah.
He would have
Too
kept me
much cake
alert.
to fall asleep.
It was a last minute decision.
You know what's
I
crazy?
thought
I
you
usually
could-
You know what's
fall asleep
crazy? I've never
after
been
dessert,
formally
Nick.
invited to Nick's house only to do work.
There's 4 different instances in the movie where they reference Stardust.
Just
It's through the soundtrack. It's in the beginning of the movie. I believe it's like at the end, and they also do it during the wedding scene. And then I forget the last one. I don't know if you remember.
Well, what do you mean Stardust? I'm lost.
They
there.
played a song called Stardust.
It's the
But
name,
what's-
it's the
what's-
name of
what's
the
the part?
original hotel that was actually the inspiration
Yeah, they-
for the flamingo or whatever.
No, it was.
Oh, is that the one that they-
Tangerines
that they,
or
like,
Tangines
demolition or
whatever the
something?
fuck it's
yeah, the
called.
Tangiers.
Tangiers. that's
So
So
what it
instead
was.
of being like the actual hotel in the 1980s was the
Yeah,
Stardust.
so they did, you know, obviously this is all red. The name of the fictional hotel was Tangiers. They shot it at the Riviera, which was
Yeah, they actually shot it in a casino,
yeah,
right?
it was shot on location in
Because
Vegas,
Scorsese
in the
didn't
Riviera.
like the set that they had.
No,
made.
that's actually one of the cool, again, interesting facts. I know a lot of other podcasts and other
Throw
people
it
have
on,
talked about
throw it
but,
on.
like the idea too. So this was all shot on location, like I said, in the Riviera. The only scenes that they had to actually create a set for was the
in
cash
the
room,
cash room.
because that was the only place they could not get access.
Well,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, him in the movie, he was like, "I can't even fucking get
I
access
can't
to that
even.
place."
Dude,
Yeah.
you
Which
know,
actually, you talked about the cinematography in this film and Scorsese's like ability, and like a lot of what was really cool for me too was like
I feel
the
like I
idea-
feel like we're there with
there was
them,
a lot of like portions of the film that looked like it was one shot. Like it was just one take, and it would.
Yeah.
But when you have actors like that can act their asses off, you're gonna do one takes. These guys are gonna fucking knock it out of the
Yeah,
park.
dude, they were filming on film.
One
Like, this
thing
ain't
too
digital,
was
bro.
that was annoying for other editors apparently is the cigarettes that Ace was smoking all the
Oh.
time. So it's a nightmare for people because it's like every scene the cigarette's gonna be lit in a different thing.
Oh, it's
so
gonna be
like,
lower than.
So when
yeah.
you cut into it, it's just like fuck. Like at this scene, it was halfway through. The other scene, it's full
Yeah.
or it's less, and it's just like it
Actually,
doesn't
we
match
were
up.
commenting on that. Like, god damn, like these guys are smoking like fucking 24 hours
How
a
does
day
Robert
on
De Niro
this.
not have?
Well,
lung
first
cancer?
of all, I don't know how the fuck they don't.
I think they're smoking fakes. I think.
Are they fakes?
Yeah.
Are they like the herbal cigarettes?
I don't know, man. But
Probably.
They're-
I don't know how the fuck they do it
marijuana.
for Peaky Blinders though. God damn it, the fucking amount of cigarettes they smoke in that.
That's
fucking.
That's on digital. They could fix that. One of the now let's
yeah.
talk about favorite scenes, and I think one of my favorite scenes is like when you see Nikki and Ace's character going down an empty strip, and they're actually driving on the empty strip, and it's crazy. I'm like, dude, you would never see that today. Like it's crazy. Like it's imagine like you could actually go to Las Vegas and have an empty strip, and you just riding with your friend, talking shit, and telling like this is what we're gonna do for like the rest of our lives. 'Cause
Man, I
that's
wish. There's too
You
much
know-
traffic there now.
Also, one of the cool things that they did is apparently for the Riviera when they were filming, the only times they were allowed to film was between I think it was the times of like 11 to 4 a.m. So that's one
Damn,
of the
those
reasons. why-
times, dude.
Yeah,
My God.
But I don't know if that's what they did for the streets. Probably they had to close off shit
Yeah.
to be able to film. But
I think that's
don't
the
know.
only movie that's that's been able to close out like the street like that.
Dude, Martin Scorsese says, "Hey, I'm making a fucking movie here. You fucking close down whatever."
Well,
he
I
needs
don't
to."
think in '95 was he already that like famous? And,
I mean, he made Taxi Driver.
yeah, but like
that was in the '80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he was.
He's got some
He was a
pull.
big one.
His mom was
big guy.
already in movies, bro.
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
Goodfellas was already made too.
Yeah, also one of the things that they did for the Riviera, just because they were like, all right, we're letting you use our casino, they're like, they put up a big ass sign that said, come watch the filming of Casino with Martin Scorsese.
Wow, of course.
And then you can actually see real people in the background, like, they're not extras, it's like people actually in the casino.
Dude,
They're
that's crazy. Dude,
outshot.
I wish I could do that. Like, just go to
That'd
like
be dope as
like,
shit. Imagine.
because they don't advertise
Well, that's
that
what's
shit, do
crazy
they?
about like let's talk about like for a second extras. I mean, like there's a scene where it mentions outside of the gold rush that one thing I just noticed. I kind of want to backtrack for a second. Isaac, you wanted to talk about favorite scenes,
Yes, thank you.
and I feel like we took that away from you.
did
It's
take that
okay.
away
It's
from
just movies.
Again with this fucking catchphrase.
He was an emotional guy.
No, you're right. We're going to go back into it. Come on.
But one of the
All
things that I thought was cool when I learned about it going into all the things about like what more like little details and tidbits like that is so when they're coming out of the gold rush and you see Nikki and Frankie and they're talking and they're kind of covering their mouths to not have the lip readers read what they're saying.
Like ventriloquist.
Like there's an extra or a background character that comes behind him. That guy
That was funny.
is actually I was mentioning and alluding to this earlier. He was a guy that Scorsese hired because he was an old mobster, and so he literally.
wow.
So if you guys remember, there's so many.
He was like, who
characters.
the fuck is this guy? Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Is this one of your favorite scenes, or
No,
are you
no.
just saying this?
Well, I just wanted to because I think it was
Just
actually really
highlighting
cool
a
how they
good scene.
use this. They used him because essentially, like towards the end of the film, when they're putting hits out on everybody. I don't know if you guys remember, but there's a scene where one of the characters. Runs out to Costa Rica. There's also a scene where they're outside in the snow and all.
The
of
guy
a
that
sudden-
ran up to Costa Rica was the guy that taking the takes back to Chicago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys was who got shot in the middle of the snow around his car. Like some dude came around and then shot him in the head, and then they started shooting him on the floor. None of that was going to be in the film, but this advisor, this gentleman, this consultant, he basically was the one who told Scorsese, he's like, "This is bullshit." It kind of made me feel like Full Metal Jacket, like the same deal where they all of a sudden gave that drill sergeant the role of the drill sergeant in
that's
movie
right.
because they were like, this is not how we would talk in the Marines, and like, all right, well, show me how you would do it. And then he did such a fucking phenomenal job. They gave it to him. Same deal. Scorsese was like, the way you're describing this is amazing. Do it. And so that's exactly what he did. And so this dude literally got paid by Scorsese, he got paid by him to like execute a hit that he essentially did in the 70s. He just like showed off his work in real life, and the fact that we're all watching, we're like, wow, that's badass. And it's like somebody's family out there literally has to be like, shit, that's what happened to my dad.
Dude, that
Or,
shit was
like, my
that shit
grandpa.
was
hard,
crazy
man.
That's fucking crazy.
when they ran after the guy that was in Costa Rica. He was literally like fucking shooting through the window, like, and they got him and threw him in the fucking pool.
It's
Crazy
insane.
as fuck, man.
And like that whole, what I was alluding to, George, was like the whole sequence of like the cleanup, essentially, of like damage control. All of a sudden, it's like, all right, shit's hit the fan, killing everybody, and just showing how at the end of the day, nobody but the people who are part of that family, that tight group, the mob, the bosses, are safe. And even them, honestly, aren't.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, they should have just expensed Artie's
They would have just expensed.
Artie's money, man.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
That's why he had to keep records because they weren't paying his ass out.
They were his mom's records, bro.
But he was also being a dick because he wanted more money. Because again, I think he was just.
He's like,
being
"You're going out there on my own dime. What do you mean?
He's like, I go out there, I get the money, and then I come here to Kansas.
It's coming out of my own pocket."
Cock was probably making like 20 grand.
I know, right?
He's just mad because he didn't cover expenses. Dude.
All right, Alexis, best scene. What do you think?
I really like the scene where they show like, okay, this guy's watching this guy. This guy's watching this guy, and then like you go like straight to the ceiling, and they have like the binoculars looking at
Everybody
everybody.
watching everyone.
Yeah, everybody watching everyone. I
That
really
was,
like that.
That felt to me like old school Ocean's 11, like build up when it
I
was
do
really-
love the ocean.
like the way that it
films.
was showing the setup of the casino almost felt like a counter to Ocean's 11. Like,
Well, this is
is how
before
we go-
Oceans.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying like you have Ocean's crew trying to heist the place, and then this is like showing, oh, this is how I would make sure nobody would ever heist the place.
Yeah,
It's by
yeah,
setting
you're
up
right.
At
all
the end
these-
of the day, they're all criminals, so
It's
they all
insane.
think alike.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What about you, George?
I just really liked the scene where fucking Nikki gets got, bro. I mean, motherfucker had to come in. I don't know. I feel like it really set a precedent. They're like, you don't fuck with, the people that are feeding you. So the fact that they went after him and actually killed him and buried him alive with his brother, stripped all the fucking clothes off his back. Holy shit, what a statement, bro. That whole scene was fucked up. And then they beat the shit out of them with bats, which is like probably one of the most brutal ways to go. Like you're physically aching the entire time, and then you get buried alive. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, the only fucking thing they could have done worse is maybe set him on fire. So
Shit,
I
they may
mean,
have.
yeah, no, that scene kind of like I was just like,
But
oh
that's-
my god, the mob does not give a shit. So
That's what happens when you don't like.
that's
when
what,
you don't,
that's
when
what
you don't
happened
follow,
when you fuck someone's wife, Isaac.
when you don't
All
follow
right?
the rules
But-
of the Cosa Nostra.
Cosa Nostra.
That's what it's called, man.
Dude, that's hard.
Yeah.
Dude, out of anyone of us here, Isaac would be mob. Isaac
Why?
would be mob.
Why do you say that?
Nah, he's-
Bro, because you
little too brown.
You got that business side of you.
That grease?
You got that grease on you. You'll take the risks.
Also,
you're always coming out on top.
for the-
Like
for the
take
viewers
out
that-
ghoul.
For the viewers at home, Isaac's fucking 6'4", solid,
lean like a motherfucker.
fucking lean, 200 pounds.
No, I'm not
When
Kill
he
a
takes a
fucking-
step, you hear it.
Damn.
It's like the
I
T-Rex from fucking
I can hear his
Jurassic
muscles
Park.
tighten.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Jesus
But-
Christ.
So in other words, he looks just like Nikki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
No, but
Host,
Yeah.
you want to try the segment out?
Yeah. Let's read what Letterboxd.
Let's read some Letterboxd reviews on Casino.
Should we find like the funniest
Already
ones?
found 'em.
Oh, you already
Yeah,
got
you're
them.
Dude, you think I'm gonna come in here unprepared?
you think he's some sort of schmuck, huh?
Huh?
You think he's a gabagoo?
Yeah, I
What the
think
fuck's
you-
the matter with
I
you?
think-
All right, so okay, we got a 4.5 star, a half star, another 4.5, and a 3 star.
Wow, these guys are.
These guys-
Savages.
You got a little bit of everything, huh?
Okay, so this is by Tim Kopp. All things considered, these guys were kind of okay dads.
They were great.
4.5 stars.
That is true.
Straight
I
up
agree.
fucking
We were
facts,
talking
bro.
about that earlier.
They were great dads, though.
Every time Nikki was home, 6 a.m. to make sure.
And Sam Rothstein was always there for his daughter. Like,
Absolutely.
what the fuck? Why'd you tie my daughter up?
Yeah.
And
Honestly-
Nikki would put on a little bit of butter,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
for his
hey,
kid.
hey. That shit clogs your arteries.
Clogs your arteries.
It's not a fucking
That's
joke,
right.
okay?
But-
What's our next review?
Next one.
That was kind of a
All right,
long one.
This is the half star. I'm gonna try to shorten it.
Yeah.
This is kind of sad. This is really a movie about a woman dealing with the trauma of childhood sexual abuse and grooming, being abused by 3 separate criminals. I was really excited to see this, but now I'm just a bit angry. This is by Elena Goldenbow.
Oh,
That's
Half
actually
star.
a great perspective from
Half star.
like a woman's
Yeah,
perspective.
Elena,
I didn't
honestly-
even consider that. That's kind of.
I mean,
fucked
that's
up.
what I had said earlier, right? I think that at the end of the day, Ginger, we fault her and we say that she's not a good character, but think
I
she's
don't
a
like
great
her
character.
review because I feel like she didn't watch the movie and just got mad at the fact that, like, oh man, this lady is kind of in a bad situation, and just stood there.
That's one perspective. That's a
Yeah.
perspective. Maybe she was looking at it at a more like critical point of view.
I agree with Isaac on this, just because like she wasn't the only one that was hurt in this. Obviously, the things that happened to Ginger were horrendous and bad. However, fucking Ace got the shit out of the stick, like in the regards to like his wife was cheating multiple times with different men.
Her the best friend, basically.
Nikki was a piece of shit, and he cheated on. His Ginger cheated on him with one of his right hand mans, which
And
is
Lester
like
the
fucking
molester.
even worse.
Can't forget that.
Yeah, and then fucking Lester the molester over there was
doing coke
was
and
the only one that
prostitutes.
she actually loved. And it's like,
And he was a
and
piece
he
of shit.
refused to love her back. Refused
yeah,
to. He was the one who was like,
she's
yeah,
right.
have fun with it.
Lester was a groomer, and he was
Yeah.
a piece of shit. But it's like, all right, that doesn't justify all the actions that Ginger did. Obviously,
I think this
absolutely.
goes back to what we were saying is that yes, women are objectified and shown in a very negative light here because she is the worst character, but you know that sometimes that's reality.
And the thing is,
they
this
were
is-
all shitty
This is
characters,
also a
though.
time
Not even
piece,
defending
you
the
know,
men.
Yeah.
Like fucking,
you know,
horrendous.
this takes place in the mid '80s. You know,
And
Shot in the mid-90s.
mobsters aren't known for being feminists.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're known for being
Nowadays we are.
mobsters.
Nick's gonna become a monster, and
Yeah.
he's a feminist.
He had Colombian ties.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, next one. Another 4.5 star. This is by Mary. Robert De Niro putting on his blue pants. That's cinema.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was actually funny when he was like when he
With
was
skinny ass legs.
his skinny ass legs and his blue shoes, and
That I mean, dude.
right before his meeting with the
You
with the
mentioned $1
cowboy.
million, bro. $1 million for wardrobe. Was that $1 million wasted or $1 million fucking well spent?
Fucking well spent. Are you kidding
I'm not
me?
gonna
The
lie.
wardrobe
Some of
in
those
this
outfits
movie?
were fucking through the like the orange suit was not a hit. That was not.
What?
Dude, the pink suit in the beginning.
You heard Isaac on that
fucking
one.
sick.
The
Beautiful.
pink and white was fucking sick.
Yeah.
I'm, so,
In
I'm
the
not gonna
beginning.
lie.
Yeah,
But
no.
again, like it was just one of those things where it's
But it
like,
was the '80s, and they were like, they
the
were
flashing
late
lights, that's-
70s,
this
late
is Vegas.
70s.
It's
Hey, look,
Vegas.
Yeah.
Nick, if you were a mobster with all the fucking money in the world, wouldn't you dress flashy?
You gotta
and
look a little
fucking
fly,
crazy
man.
either?
Hey, bro, it's Pride Month.
Or
You gotta wear Pride
you know
colors,
what?
bro.
No, Nick would be wearing like Supreme and fucking, Prada and all that shit
One
out there.
Supreme thing, motherfucker.
All
I
right,
can
next
see you
review.
doing that though.
Next review. This one's a bit in the middle. This is by Jake.Magner. 3 stars. I respect the idea of this movie, but to me it just seemed way too gimmicky. Too much narration, not enough exciting things happen. I thought this movie would be an all-time great, but for me, I was so disappointed, I canceled my trip to Vegas.
First of all, that's bullshit.
How old is this fucking kid? He sounds like a 12-year-old. Just like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be good. It's not good.
This guy
When was
Canceled
that?
his trip to
Man,
Vegas.
Do you
know-
know
you know
when
what?
that review was posted?
This was posted actually 4 days ago, June 16th.
This fucking kid that's like barely turned 21. He's like,
This kid's balls have not
He's
dropped
like,
yet.
I
Like,
only
what the
watch
fuck?
Fast and the Furious movies, and Fast 10 is great. That's what I
It's
wanted.
because it's all about family.
Actually, I'm a bit confused because I did, you know what? I did listen to another podcast, and I listened to their review on Casino.
Fucking
You
cheater.
Fucking
I
traitor
just want to
bitch.
know what other people are saying, and they didn't like it. They were like, "It's too long. It's not exciting enough. You know, this would have been better as like a TV series,
Look,
this and
no,
that." It's
I-
There
like,
is
that's
a TV
bullshit.
series called Casino.
That's bullshit.
was it based on this though?
I don't know.
No, but I
No.
don't. I don't
See, but I disagree with those thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I was totally sucked in.
All right.
See, no, I
All right.
will
What
say
kind
this
of
movie
what
was
kind of
long as
podcast these
fuck.
people running?
This movie was long as fuck. It was 3 hours. It's one of those movies like we talked about in Across the Spider-Verse, where I was like, "Fuck, oh my gosh!" Like I didn't even realize how much time has gone by. How much longer is this movie? And then it ends. This movie, I was like, "Oh, we're halfway through the movie, and we're an hour and a half in." Shit.
But it was a
Like-
roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, to
I'm
me,
not
I was like,
certain.
"Oh, this is
I
great! Like,
was
we got
definitely-
more."
Starts off with a bang,
Yeah.
slows down a bit,
Literally
builds
starts
up,
off with a bang.
back down. It's
And I
just
think it was
perfect.
great. That's the best way you described it. I wasn't high, like up in the sky the entire time. There was lows, there was highs. It was a perfect roller coaster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie phenomenal, through and through. But I can definitely see where people say it's slow at times and it's long.
I think I could agree with that. Like, but I think that comes back to I think it's like those people that read comic books and
What are you trying to say?
I'm cold. Let me
Be careful.
I'm,
Be
using,
careful.
I'm using
Steady,
the,
bud.
I'm
Watch your
using
fucking
the
tone with
I'm
Alexis
using the
around,
fucking
right?
analogy right
All
now.
right, go ahead.
It's like these people probably watch comic books and I think Casino's more of a sweet book. A book that you can sit there and you enjoy it for like the 3 hour long that it is. And and
Okay, so like a comic book versus a novel.
yeah.
It's not for a short attention span.
Yeah.
You need to.
Hey, I resent that.
Yeah. I
YouTube,
think I
YouTube
resent
Shorts
that.
versus YouTube.
And I think
long
honestly,
form.
the comment on narration is absolute bullshit. In my opinion, this movie was something I hadn't really seen before. The dual narrators and the idea that like you're getting different perspectives. You're basically getting the perspective of the guy who is the protagonist and the guy who is supposed to be the antagonist of the film, who's talking about themselves. So they get a chance to almost like plead their case to the audience.
Actually, side note, Nicky, as he's narrating, right before he gets fucking whacked, he actually like yells out in pain in his narration.
That's
pretty
true.
sick.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, I think that's what, like, we talked about how people could picture themselves being there, and, like, there's the whole thing of, like, would you rather be feared or be loved, right? Clearly,
not both?
I want to be feared.
Clearly, Nicky wanted to
How
be
much they
feared,
love him.
and you have Ace wanting to be loved the entire film. But I think that's what's interesting is, like, the way that you hear them talk, the way that you hear them narrate themselves and talk about their operations and stuff like that, you kind of have these guys pleading their case for why their method of doing things is better than the other. Why they're in the right and the other's in the
Two
wrong.
sides of the same coin.
Like, eventually they both become antagonists, essentially, or they both become protagonists, depending on how you see it. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, really, I think this comment, while I respect the person who said it, I don't agree. I think that the narrators in this film did a lot for the film. I feel like the narrators became their own kind of plot device that not a lot of other movies really truly take advantage of when they use a narrator.
Wow.
I think for like the younger generation, it might be one of those movies where it's like it's too much of a slow burn.
But
for me.
it's
But
like
it's also like-
Yeah, it's not John Wick with
yeah.
action. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
it goes back to the comments. Is like people can't sit there and read a book anymore. They're either they want that instant gratification, and I feel like
short attention span.
yeah.
You know.
yeah, it's because we
No
literally
offense
have,
to Jake over here. No offense to Jake.
Jake, you fucking suck.
We're just-
full offense. No, but
You
no, for
uncultured
real. No,
swine.
I mean, I can get it, but also to say that it's like this is one of the greatest fucking films. Like it's like, dude, shut up. It's
I
good.
canceled
You-
my trip
how-
to Vegas, bro. You
How,
couldn't go to Vegas.
how are you not gonna look at this film and be like, all right, I can see why people appreciate it, and there's like so many different aspects. You can be like, I don't like it personally, but you could also acknowledge that it's like there's so many different things that this film brings that people have copied. Like now in a modern era, like to the point, like what we were saying about with Ocean's 11, that's something that fucking Scorsese did
even
first.
John Wick takes a little part.
Yeah,
of
the
it.
cinematography, the fucking, the fact that he likes to use practical rather than CGI. I mean, even just the everything about it, like the fact that it has no plot, like that's fucking crazy. That's how do you make an entertaining movie with no fucking actual plot, and it's relying solely on the character development and the way that they go about their lives and like how it all just kind of comes together as a collective. Like those kinds of things, I feel like is what makes this movie so great. Yeah, maybe there's certain parts where it's like not as entertaining, or it doesn't grab your attention like most films, but as a collective, this movie is fucking great.
But I think,
So-
100% agree.
but I think if you have the consciousness to like sit there and watch the movie for 3 hours and really look at the little things that are going on in the background, seeing how the characters are interacting, you take notes of all this stuff, I think you'd really appreciate it. And honestly, I think this is a movie that at least I fully like. I loved the movie my first watching it when I was like probably like 11 or 12. Shouldn't have watched it at that point. But like I didn't understand a lot of stuff that was going on, and like as the years went by, when I kept watching, because I'm like, oh, this is a good movie. I don't remember watching this movie, but so I was watching it again, and like I really started to appreciate some of the stuff that was going on because I grew up, and as I kept growing up, I kept watching it, and like I understood new things that were going on, different nuances, and so I think this is a movie you could definitely watch 3 or 4 times and find something new.
Kind of
I'm
sounds
actually-
like we should get into the ratings, but go ahead. George.
I'm actually glad that Gator brought this movie to our attention.
Me too. It was,
Because,
a great one.
Like
Great one,
before this, I was like, I had no intention of watching Casino whatsoever. And then he's like, "What the fuck? You guys haven't seen Casino?" And I'm like, "No, like it doesn't
it's a
doesn't seem
great film.
appealing."
Yeah.
I thought you said you had already seen it.
No. When we watched it the first time,
Same
no.
for-
Oh,
time.
that one time. Yeah.
yeah, that was a
Yeah,
that was
I
a
was
while
definitely
back.
there
We
too.
also cuddled.
It was definitely there
We
too.
did.
We did.
Yeah.
A lot of
Nick was
cuddles.
definitely there.
No, Nick wasn't there, but I think I was a little
George,
stoned.
George, no, that guy wasn't fucking there. Shut the fuck up.
When
He
the
wasn't
fuck
there.
was that guy there?
No, he was there.
In
Right
spirit.
here. Right here.
All right, what's you guys' rating?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Wow,
Solid 8.
Just off the bat, huh?
off the bat.
Let's just rip
Yeah.
it.
All right,
I
George.
well, I'm not done. Man.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay.
He's
the
explaining
fuck?
why it's an 8.
He's
I don't
like,
want to hear your
He's
opinion.
like,
if
if
it's
I
only
need a
an
10, I don't want to fucking hear
All
it.
right, I think it's an 8 because I think it's good. All right, go ahead, George.
8, fucking piece of garbage.
What is
Go ahead,
Is
George.
your name Jake? What the fuck? Come on.
We're just shitting on this guy for no
Never
reason.
going to Vegas again.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna need a second to marinate here because
All right, give him a second, Nick.
yeah.
I think this movie had a lot of things going.
Keep it
for
short, buddy.
I mean, one of the things I just wanted to say is like I said, I think that the character devices in this movie that were utilized, I like seeing De Niro kind of be a weak guy. I'm not gonna lie, like he's always.
Oh,
such
you
a
like that
badass.
shit, huh?
I'm not gonna lie, it was
You look
Like
very
you like
weak.
a weak man.
You look
huh?
very weak with that CGI in The Irishman.
I mean,
Oh
look,
God.
But I'm saying
He's
not
slow.
being, not being
Nick's
a
a
badass.
cuck, so like you just
Hey,
he
bro,
wants to.
I was
live
just
his
like, I
fantasy
could be
through.
him, yeah. My wife will cheat on me too. But no, I mean, I just think he played it really well. I mean, this is my first intro to De Niro being that type of character. This is my first intro to De Niro having kind of the fear versus the one who creates the fear. So
We should see Cape Fear.
I really enjoyed that.
Another Scorsese.
I think I'm gonna give this one an 8.5.
Wow.
Wow.
I think
More
it was
than higher than me.
I think it was a great film.
Usually I'm on the higher end.
I think he's gonna be shocked by my score when he gets here.
He's gonna give it a
That's
10.
two.
He's gonna give it a 10.
It's not a 10. It's not a 10.
All right, all right. Lay it on us.
Well, fucking tell us.
All right, well, no,
Lay
you
it out,
gotta
boy.
save him for
tease him.
last now.
All right, George.
George.
All right.
Keep it short, buddy. I don't want it as long as Nick.
8-3. Right in the middle.
Go fuck
between you
yourself
boys.
up.
Man,
No, no.
why you and your fucking weird
You
numbers?
guys bring valid points. No. 'cause,
And
like,
is your
I-
shirt upside down?
Oh, what the fuck are you on about? Look, can you not
Cause
read
I
that?
see
We're
the.
gonna keep it short, but you're gonna fucking interrupt him in the middle
Yeah,
of his
you
rating.
fuck-
Shut
All
the
right, go
fuck
ahead.
up.
Go ahead.
8-3. I don't know. It's a overall really good film. I like it. It's not the pace that I enjoy. I feel like it had a lot of really good elements as a whole. Really enjoyed it. I definitely see why people think this is one of Scorsese's finest. But I definitely Shutter Island's like.
Yeah, you always talk about
and
the
then
movie.
The Departed too. What the fuck?
No, it's called The Departed.
Okay, The
There's no-
Departed.
And still,
no-
Infernal
And
Affairs
then,
is better.
Are you kidding me? Wolf of Wall Street? Come on, bro. I mean,
That's
like,
the one that brought.
this is definitely one of his best.
Leonardo
But
DiCaprio, you need to talk
Margot
about
Robbie.
you know
I
what
like
I'm
it.
saying?
8-3. The rewatchability is also great. I've seen it, 4 or 5 times. So I think that's a big factor for why the
Nice.
score is so high. But yeah, I don't think there's definitely flaws that I feel like
Small flaws.
small flaws, of course. But that's also
Name a
personal
flaw.
opinion. I don't know.
Exactly.
Ginger was a bitch the entire time.
That's
I don't know.
what that happened.
You wanted her to be a little bit more sympathetic. I do agree that I think there should have been.
Yeah, they really made it.
Let
hard
us
sometimes.
understand the characters a little bit
Like,
more.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the reviewer that we had from Letterbox, she pointed it out. But
Mary.
Mary, thank you. Mary did a really good job of pointing out that that's something that a lot of people
Oh,
have
sorry,
missed.
Elena.
Elena, I apologize.
Golden Bow.
Elena's right.
Elena,
Golden Bow.
Ginger
Elena was, right,
a broken soul,
but
I
not
feel like
enough people knew that. Like,
But
you
yeah,
had
they
to look
didn't
at it.
depict. They didn't do Ginger justice because
To really
she's
show
right.
it.
She brought up a lot of valid points where it's like, holy shit, this girl went through some fucking trauma,
Yeah.
but it was almost like glanced over
Exactly.
in the movie.
And I
So-
think I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't think Scorsese did that to be harmful.
No, I don't think it was
he did that
intentional.
as no, I think it was.
dude, it was already a 3-hour film. I don't think
Exactly.
that they had to cut.
And also,
trim
the movie
fat,
wasn't
you know?
about her.
Exactly. That was my point. And it was intentional. It was intentional that people knew that she was a troubled character
Yeah.
and that she was the flaw, but it wasn't about her.
That's what I mean. But it's also like
Depicting
obviously
assholes.
personal
And so
opinions,
they
but
have an
like
asshole.
there's definitely things where I saw I'm like it's not perfect because there's things that I feel like there was room for improvement.
Yeah.
But also, I mean,
And that goes to show
Always
too.
is.
One thing that I want everybody to understand too when we're listening, when we say we hated Ginger's character, I think it's important to understand that means that Sharon Stone fucking crushed it.
no, she did.
That's what she got the
did
Oscar.
amazing.
That's
Like,
what-
First of
when
all,
you
nothing
took it home.
against the
Character?
character. I mean, sorry, nothing against the actress. Nothing against like the way that it was. It was just like the way that it was depicted.
Absolutely.
Like, also, I mean, yeah,
she
went
was
through all this
so good
like,
at being like fucking so like.
fucking
What was
Whoa! I'm gonna bleep that one out. I'm gonna bleep that one out.
Hey yo!
spicy.
Whoa,
All
buddy.
right, Isaac, give us your score.
This is a 9.5 for me.
Damn,
Holy
9.
shit, that's the highest score.
Record-breaking Isaac score.
That is the highest fucking score you've given.
A lot of it has to do with nostalgia for me. Like, again, I watched this movie at a young age, and as I progressively got older, I watched it at different points in my life, and I feel like this movie's like has an incredible story to tell, and it's just you don't have to. I feel like you don't have to be fully invested in the movie to enjoy the movie. You could just sit there, man, and watch just like somebody else's life play out and see how their lives turned out, and you get the point of view from multiple perspectives. So I think that's what makes it great for me. And
I can understand why
That's
it's
incredible.
not a 10
I
because
understand.
the only Scorsese 10 is Shark Tale. So I
And
get it.
actually my only 10
Again,
tag.
he didn't direct it. He's just starred in it.
He was
He
starred in
didn't
it.
need to.
Solid 10.
He there's a
Will
rumors that
Smith's
he
performance?
ghost directed Shark Tales.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
There's ghost directors. This is a 4 guys
Well,
one film exclusive.
Nick is on the first name
Personal
basis with
Yeah, he
Martin,
knows Marty.
So
He knows Marty.
and I,
Marty, I don't even know him.
He
as
calls
Marty.
him eyebrows.
Hey, what
Eyebrows
up, you
and glasses,
Italian fuck?
if you look at Wolf of Wall Street, you'll find him in the end credits.
I was a stand-in for Margot Robbie's character.
He was right
Yeah.
next to Jonah Hill when he was
he
masturbating at that party.
I was jerking him off.
Yeah, no.
You were the fluffer?
He was
He's
fluffing
a
him.
fluffer.
It
wasn't on film, but on the side, he was fluffing him.
If I
And he's
took
not
him to
bluffing.
completion. I'm just saying.
No. Fluffing is before the completion.
That's my
so-
point. I wasn't a fluffer if I took Jonah to completion.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
All right.
You're right.
So we're kind of running out of time here. So what was the average score for all?
Average score, if I round up,
Yeah.
8.6. 4 guys, 1 film.
Yeah.
I think that's solid.
I think that means
I think
you guys
that's
gotta
solid.
watch this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should.
If you haven't already, like fucking.
If you heard all this, gone spoiled all the way to the end,
I don't even know
watch
why the
it.
fuck
Well,
you're
you-
listening to
well,
us
you know
if you
what?
haven't seen this film.
But honestly, I feel like even though we've talked about a lot of the stuff, I don't feel like we spoiled the whole movie because it's so fucking long.
No.
There's so many little intricacies.
You
that
have to experience it.
Yeah.
Really.
like
Right.
the
Even
sound-
knowing all
the-
this.
the-
Every Martin Scorsese film.
like
is
the
an
soundtrack
experience.
that goes with it, like really
phenomenal. Love the
matches mood.
soundtrack, yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
maybe
it's
we talk-
Primo.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Louis Primo.
Yeah. So I think that calls it for this
Yeah.
week.
Watch
But-
the film. It's really good. Martin Scorsese knocks it out of the park yet again.
We saw it on Peacock.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. At one point it was at a lot of different places, but I don't know what happened. But it's on Peacock right now if you guys want to watch it.
Okay.
I think it was on
and
Netflix.
And honestly,
honestly,
honestly, if you want to rent it for like $2 or $3
Or
on
own it.
Amazon,
It's worth it.
it's a good movie.
it's not a sponsored segment, but go rent it. It's a
Yeah.
great movie.
It's a good one.
Follow our affiliate link.
We'll get one. We'll get
Okay,
one.
when we go.
But
Make
just,
sure, but on the topic of follow, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Instagram.
We're gonna
TikTok.
try.
Twice.
We're gonna try to be a little more active on all
You know
our
what?
socials.
We're gonna make a letterboxed, okay? Where we average our scores,
Yeah.
and we throw it on there,
Oh yeah,
and then we can.
we could for sure.
I think I like plucking out the letterbox reviews.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
reviews.
I think that was good.
Give us some
And-
feedback on
and-
the segments you guys liked, didn't like.
Yeah.
And
Um,
in the comment section, if you guys like this segment, we'll continue the segment. If you guys have any ideas for segments you guys want to hear, let us know.
Yeah. But
How
yeah.
do they give us feedback, guys?
Well, they can email us 4guys1film@gmail. Also, Twitter's like a lot easier.
Respond to our TikToks, to our Instagrams,
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that.
And then once we open our letterbox, we'll probably just post our reviews there and
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
comment on that. So
all right, you guys.
take us home, Isaac.
This is 4 Guys, 1 Film.